Hey guys, I don't know how else to start it off other than, hey, do you remember me? Do I remember you? This is the longest that I've gone away from the podcast since I made it, and it's so weird. When I made the podcast, I had just came back from working in the oil rig, and it was such a transformative time in my life. I had just done one of the hardest things I've ever done, and something that I never expected, an opportunity that had came out of the blue, that seemed like a challenge at the time, but ended up being one of my biggest blessings, and it changed me so much as a person just in those 2 months I was there. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. It feels that way again somehow right now. Like, I took a month away. I don't know, there has been so much that has happened, I'm sure for all of us, in this last month that I have kind of been absent. And I was struggling a lot mentally this last month, to the point even, like, I'm gonna be so vulnerable in this episode and in the following episodes. I have reflected so much on just myself as a person, how I've been showing up in my relationships, in the world, in the podcast. Like, am I being the type of person who should even be giving advice? That was like the point that I got to. And I was in such a bad headspace the last month that I was like, I'm a phony, I go on this podcast and I give advice that I'm not even taking myself anymore. I talk about having an abundant mindset, switching the way that you view things, seeing how things are actually working in your favor, and I was doing none of those things. Challenges were coming up for me, and instead of being like, I've experienced this type of challenge before, I know how to respond differently, I responded the same and got the same outcome. I was not open to the change. And I come on here and I talk this big talk of, you need to be willing to change. That's the only way you're gonna grow. But the truth is, that shit is hard. Change is hard. Adjusting is hard. I don't do well with change. And it is one of the hardest things I experience. But I am so open to growth. I love being able to grow and experience new things. I like the idea of it and I love the outcome of it, but going through it is hard. And I feel like I go through it at least once a year. Shit hits a fan, life gets way too hard, and I respond also at a low vibration, When things get bad, it's such a low vibration, and I respond matching that energy instead of choosing to view the bigger picture as 99% of the population does, just to be honest with you. And so I was like, you know what? I am not the type of person to be giving advice right now. What am I going to tell people? I am in such a negative mindset right now. I am the person who needs to be taking my own advice. I need to be taking advice from my healed self that I'm ignoring right now. And I got so frustrated with myself. I was like, I've done all this healing, like I've worked on all of these traits in myself. Why are they still here? And a big thing that I want to focus on in this episode is I was able to go to this conference. So I've been away. If you didn't listen to the last episode, that's all right. I have been in California the last month. I'm back in Utah right now, but I'm going to be leaving again soon for a really long time, back to California, and I'm excited. But that's what I've been doing the last month is I've been in California. I've been away from my family. I've been away from my comfort zone. And that was a big adjustment for me. While I was there though, I had the opportunity to go to this conference. It's called the Setter Closer Spectacular. It was amazing. It was hosted by Danny Pessy. He's amazing. And I wrote a lot of notes down on it, and that really, really was a reality check for me of being like, I control how I'm feeling right now. I'm the one who's playing victim. I'm the one who's choosing to feel this way in my life right now. And it really just gave me the wake-up call that I needed. I feel like you're always where you're supposed to be, and I needed to be at that conference. I needed that wake-up call. I needed the awareness that I was lacking. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about in this episode, is just kind of the key points. I wrote them all down. My favorite parts from the conference. It was a 3-day conference. And I just learned so much, and I heard from some amazing, very influential people. I'm going to list them all down below, and I'll tell you who told me what, whatever. But kind of backtracking a little bit, I was trying out a new job. So something I've never done before, which is it's like something that really, really stresses me out, is trying out new things. And I feel like a lot of people can probably relate with that. I just stress about like not being good at stuff, you know? So I'm trying this new job. And then while I'm trying this new job, I get really, really sick. And I've been sick also the last month with bronchitis, which has been really, really fun. I wasn't able to go to the doctor until recently, so that's been also really awesome. So if my voice sounds a little bit weird, it's because I'm still recovering from that. And I was on my period all at the same time. The girls will get me on that. It was really, really rough. I was really emotional. And yeah, one of the things I was beating myself up about was not being healed. And when you're in a negative spot and you're in a negative headspace, you know, you view the world from who you are, not what you want. And so if I'm being really negative and I'm seeing things from such a lack mindset, I'm going to be embracing, without even meaning to, all of those negative traits that I've worked so hard to heal. And that's kind of where I was at. And I was like, you know what? You are right. And so I've just been taking a lot of time to reflect. Like I've said, I've been back in Utah for about a week and a half now. And I haven't recorded yet. And I was like, I'm going to record so many episodes while I'm home. And I haven't recorded, and I haven't recorded, and I haven't recorded. And I'm like, why do I keep putting it off? This used to be my favorite thing in the world to do. And I realized today the reason I was putting it off is because I was still worried. Like, what insight do I have if I'm not perfect? If I'm not perfectly healed? And I think that, and one of the things that was said in this conference, I'm just going to mention right now, is perfect is the lowest standard you can set for yourself because it's not real. Perfect doesn't exist. And for me to set that unrealistic expectation for myself, what example am I giving then? You know, I am still learning, and I am still healing, and you are still learning, and you are still healing. And I think what's beautiful about this is, instead of me trying to be so perfect and know everything, I need to be human. I need to be authentic. I need to be myself. And I'm not perfect. And I'm not perfectly healed. And I have a lot of baggage, you know? But I'm working on unpacking it. And I'm so grateful I have a platform, I guess you could say. I have a place where I can share my growth and share the things that have worked for me and the things that I have studied, because that's what makes me feel fulfilled, is being able to take the things that have benefited my life and help other people learn how to use it to benefit their life. And that's what the podcast started off as, and I feel like I just kind of lost the meaning behind it, and I wasn't really being myself. And so I took a break, and we're back. If you guys haven't seen on the Instagram, or I guess just like on the podcast, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, whichever one you listen to it on, I have changed the cover art for the podcast. This is a new era. If we want to talk about eras, this is a new era. I changed the camera angling too. It's a little bit more close and personal. I don't know. I just felt the need to. So now that I've rambled for forever, let's get into this episode, because I'm so excited to share with you guys the insight that I have learned at this conference that I went to. And I'm going to preface this by saying every single leader that I heard from, every single speaker that I heard from, I'm mentioning things from their talks. I will be listing their Instagrams down below in case you guys want to go check them out. They are all so amazing, and I feel so grateful that I was able to learn from them. The first few things that I'm going to be talking about is from Danny Pesci, just from when he was talking. Basically, I just kind of rewrote the pinpoints that I really liked that he said in my own words. So just kind of paraphrasing different things that he had said. The first way I kind of want to touch on this is with self-perception, okay? I posted a reel on Instagram like 4 days ago, I think, about self-perception, and I'm just going to kind of touch on it a little bit more with the insight that I learned from the conference. First thing is, if you can't figure out why you're great, if you can't figure out what you bring to the table, what makes you different, no one else is going to see it. People feel your energy. If you're not secure in yourself, people are not going to trust what you say. They're not going to believe what you bring to the table is real. They're not going to see all of the potential you have because you don't see it. Everybody is you pushed out, so people are going to show up for you and see you the way that you view yourself. And so if you're viewing yourself from all of your insecurities and your lack mindset and feeling like you're not enough, people feel that energy. So if you're trying to create a business or you're in sales, honestly, anything in life, nobody is going to trust your word until you realize why you're different, why what you're saying is important, why what you're doing is important. And when you find that why, that's when other people are going to be like, all right, this person's legit. This person is secure. Next thing is, a lot of times we focus on the past and the things that we've been through. And that's something that I've been really stuck in, is the, victim mindset of, well, I've been through this and I've been through this and that's why I'm this way. It does not matter where you've been and what you've been through. What matters is where you're going. The past does not matter because you can't do anything about it. You've already lived it. The past is done, right? The only reason we should ever be thinking about the past is as a reflection of what you learned from it. The present moment is the only thing we can control. The future has not happened yet, and the present moment determines the future. The past is done. So where you have been does not matter. It's all about where you're going and the focus you have towards it. This is a quote from Tim Story. If you guys have not heard of Tim Story, he is amazing. Brought the whole room to tears. He has the most magnetic energy I have ever felt. Like, I could not stop thinking about his speech, still cannot stop thinking about his speech. He brings so much energy to a room. Like, it's so amazing to experience and to just be in the same room as him. He is so secure and he is just on such a high vibration. You can feel his energy and it is so amazing. Tim Story said, "You were born an original. We were all born an authentic original. We are not all the same. We may look similar, some of us may look similar, but all of us deep down to our core are different. Nobody is the exact same. So if you're born an original, do not die a copy. Do not die doing what everyone else does just to fit in. You need to trust your gut and go for the things that you want to do, because that's you. That is all you. That's your original self. And the more that you try and be a copy of everyone else, you are not going to stand out. And you're not going to reach that successfulness that you could if you were to be your original self." The next thing with kind of self-perception is when the pressure is greater, that's when these patterns come back up. That's when you start noticing these negative patterns, because you're being almost tested again in a way. You're being presented with the same stressors to see if you're going to choose to react the same way or if you're going to choose to react from a higher vibrational way. And so these patterns that you thought you healed from are going to come back up. Like I said, the example of me this last month. I was put in a stressful situation that I had been in a similar situation before, and I chose to react the same way. And these negative patterns kept coming up, and life kept feeling harder and harder and harder, and things just kept feeling worse and worse and worse until I had that wake-up call. A lot of people don't choose to change and face it head on until the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of changing. And that's kind of the point that most of us get to. That's the point that I got to. The pain of staying in that negative mindset was so much worse than my fear of change, and so I had to face it head on. Do not wait till you get to that point. If you notice these things happening in your life, take it by the horns now before it gets so bad, because we have that control, we have that ability to. I want to talk about some journaling things that I started doing and that they recommended in the conference that really, really helped open my eyes with this certain topic, with everything going on in my life, with trying to address the negativity that I had been focusing on, with trying to address the change, just getting it out of your mind and getting it onto paper with some structure, a lot of the times will help you be able to kind of think through it a little bit easier. So here are some journaling ideas that you can try to help organize your mind and just kind of see it from a perspective. First things first is writing down 2 problems from your day. So you can do this, I would do these at the end of the day. I have some for in the morning, but we're gonna do some at night first. So you've gone through your day, you're winding down, maybe you just did your skincare. I have my planner and my journal like on my bedside table, and I'll just grab these out and, write down what I'm doing the next day in my planner, cross out the things that I did today. If I didn't do something today, write it down for tomorrow. And then I'll go in my journal and I'll write down 2 problems that I have had on my mind, either from the day or from the week or from the month, and try and think of 2 solutions, or try and think of 2 solutions that I came up with in that circumstance. So let's say that I have been really struggling with my negative mindset. What is a solution that I could have for that? And for the longest time, I didn't have one. I was like, I don't know, if life was easier, then I wouldn't be feeling this way. That's a victim mindset, but I was stuck in it. And so I finally got to the point where I was like, I need to shift my perspective on the things happening to me. I need to focus on the little good things I have. Even if the negative may be outweighing it, I need to focus on the little good things I have in my life. That was my solution. Another problem that I had been facing that I'm gonna get into in next week's episode a lot deeper, but I had been dealing with some body things. Like I was sick and I had been dealing with some confidence issues, to be honest with you. My body had been changing a lot, from being sick, from being busy, and it was making me really, really anxious. And so I was like, what is a solution for that? And I finally got to the point where I was like, I need to take better care of myself. Something that Danny Pesci said was, if you get your wealth at the expense of your health, right? You get sick and you don't take care of your body just because you're working so hard, you will spend your money that you earn fixing your health. You will spend that money fixing what you chose to ignore. And that really stuck with me. I heard that at a conference and I was like, he is so right. I am neglecting my body at the cost of working so hard. And so I had to make a point that even though I was busy in my day, I needed to take care of myself. And once I got better at that, I started to feel better and I started to have color back in my face, And I'm still a little bit sick, but I started getting so much better once I did that, once I had that mindset shift. So sometimes just writing down the problems, you may not always have the solution, but eventually, after reflecting, you will get to the point where you will have the solution for it. Next thing to write down at night is 3 gratitude things. Even if it's the littlest things in the world, just finding 3 things in your day that you were grateful for. And I'm talking littlest things in the world. My coffee this morning was really good. My makeup today was really good. Just really little things. Like when you are focused on the negativity, like there were some days that I was like, I don't feel like anything good happened in my day. I don't have anything I was grateful for. And I had to think and I had to sit and I was like, I'm grateful I can even walk. I'm grateful that I have the ability to be where I am right now, the opportunity that I have right now. I'm grateful to have a roof over my head and to have food. The littlest, tiniest things that we take for granted, being able to just write those down, you feel better. I can't explain it other than you feel better. Maybe it was a bad day, but I'm still blessed. God has still blessed me. In the mornings, I like to write down my goal for that day, like one little goal, like I am going to have a positive mindset today. I'm going to have an abundant mindset today. I am going to be nice to strangers today. Little goal that you know that you can meet. Sometimes just setting little tiny goals help us feel accomplished so that we feel more motivated to work towards our big goals. Getting back into what I heard from the conference, I honestly am probably gonna have to do another episode with this because I've been yapping. We had so much to talk about. So if you guys would like me to do another episode where I kind of talk about my favorite points from this conference that I went to, let me know. Comment on the YouTube. Dude, we're back on YouTube even. On the YouTube, comment a blue heart emoji if you would like to hear more from this conference because it was amazing. Here are just some little mindset things that were really, really important to me. Like just these things really, really helped awaken me. Thinking about a situation that's really stressing you out or something that you're doing. Does this push me away from my goal or move me towards my goal? You can even think about like people in your life. Are they pushing me away from my goals or are they helping me get towards my goal? And sometimes just thinking about it in that perspective, because it really is as simple as that, helps you decide, all right, this is not serving me anymore, or I need to create some distance. The next thing is frequency precedes greatness. What you focus on the most and what you're doing the most, what you're practicing the most is what is going to stick. So make sure what you're doing frequently, what you're thinking about frequently is helping you, it's furthering you, and it's getting you to where you want to go. Next thing is failure is growth. Failure teaches us the resilience we need to continue. Failure builds that grit that we need to feel motivated. When you fail at something, see it as a challenge to do better. See it as a challenge to push yourself even further because you can accomplish the goal that you want. Anything that you desire, you are energetically aligned with. It's just how you're showing up with it. So what you desire is completely possible for you. If you're failing, look back and see, why did I fail? And change that. And change it as many times as you need to. There's no limit to how many times you can fail. Each time is just building you into a better person. And each time is just building more grit in you, building more resilience in you. It's building you into a stronger person who can accomplish what you are desiring. I'm going to end this episode on that note. Like I said, comment a blue heart emoji if you want me to talk a little bit more about what I learned from this conference. If you guys enjoyed this episode and you are on YouTube, make sure that you comment down below what you liked about it. Also comment down below if there's anything in specific you would like an episode on, or if you would like me to do another Sincerely Honest. Sincerely Honest is when I post the Google Docs form where you guys can just ask me any question anonymously and I answer it in a video with the best advice that I can think to give in that situation. If you guys would like another Sincerely Honest, anything like that, comment down below. Also, smash that like button and subscribe if you want to. If you are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the podcast is actually on every single streaming service, if you were wondering. So wherever you're listening to this, make sure you give it 5 stars. Just let me know you like it. Just let me know you're happy that we're back too. My Instagram is also going to be linked down below, so if you guys would like to reach out to me there, I love when people reach out to me and ask for advice in my DMs, and I answer those as frequently as I can. So if you have an issue that's a little bit more specific and you want my direct advice on, just DM me and it'll stay between us, but I would love to help you if I can. Also, like I said, every one of the leaders that I mentioned something that they talked about in this episode, I will be linking their Instagrams down below so you can go check them out. They are amazing. I really, really think everyone can gain a lot of insight on mindfulness and authenticity from them. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great Friday. Fridays are going to be our new posting days, by the way, BTW. Fridays will be the new day. And I will see you guys next Friday.